Hi, I'm Lindsay Money.
And I'm Dawn Holt, and we're students at Liberty University, and today we're going to be telling you about the Attention Deficit Disorders Evaluation Scale. Maybe you are a parent or a teacher who has a student that has some behaviors that are maybe raising a few red flags that you need to evaluate a little bit further. Well, today we're going to tell you about the assessment that's going to help you take care of that.
This assessment allows you to, if you do see those red flags and there are more of these concerning behaviors than usual that you think should be there are two different assessments. There's one for a parent and one for a teacher. The parents are able to take home their assessment and the teachers do theirs in class. And this is very effective because they are with the student day in and day out, and that is what makes this assessment so reliable and so formidable.
Now, the assessment itself was created based upon the characteristics that are found in the DSM-4 for the diagnosis of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So when the test was created, they looked at all of these different characteristics and they wanted to make sure that when they made the test that it was going to cover those characteristics so that the people administering the test and scoring the test would have some useful information to paint a bigger picture about the student's behavior and needs.
And this test is, do not let it intimidate you at all. It is easy to do because you as the examiner are able just to simply do the score based on your observations of the student or of your child. And so that is how you administer the test, is you simply are using the observations and scoring. And the scoring is done from a 0 to 5. You give the student a 0 to 5 based on how severe the observation, that the action that you're observing is. But the only thing is there is a 1. The score of a 1 is if you did not observe it at all. And then we found that could be a small weakness for this assessment, just simply because it could skew the scores a little bit.
So we mentioned that weakness, that 1, but other than that, this test is extremely reliable. It has been researched. You can be sure that when you begin the assessment and when you're looking at the results, you can be sure that the results are reliable and valid. And that means that the test is actually measuring what it's supposed to measure. So when you're testing to see, does this person have some behaviors that are possibly concerning or could be indicative of ADHD, it has been researched and it is valid, and the test that you would give today, you would get that same test result 30 days from now from your student. The test sample was actually really large. There were over 3,000 students from different demographics, different age groups, and the results have been standardized based on those different age groups and genders.
The test is actually split into two sections for observation and for scoring, and it is split into a section for inattentiveness and hyperactivity impulsiveness, and the observations that the actions that you're observing that you score are, you have a raw score for each section that come together to build a collective score to decide whether or not your child potentially could be ADD or ADHD. And this assessment comes alongside of many other assessments. It probably should not be done just by itself. It is a tool to help further assess whether they may have attention deficit disorder or hyperactivity disorder, and can come alongside any other future test assessments to help decide that also.
And in case anybody had any concerns about the language, for people that maybe are not proficient with English, there is a Spanish version of this test for maybe parents that English is not their first language, or a student. But because the teacher or educator is the rater, there aren't many concerns with the language issue. Just make sure that the behaviors that you might be observing the student isn't due to another disability or possibly to their lack of proficiency with the English language.
I'm Lindsay Money.
And I'm Dawn Holt.
Thank you so much for listening today. We hope this was helpful.